Welcome everyone to Fantasy Watch, where you learn which players you want to buy, sell, or hold. I'm your host, Berto, the real late bloomer. As always, the objective is to buy low and sell high, and also make sure you're not giving up on a player just after one bad week or even a few bad weeks. Well guys, let's get into it.
Sports Live, where we rap sports analysis.
Alright guys, let's talk about our buy list. Our first candidate is DALVIN Cook, the same player who missed most of the 2017 season, came back week 1 and played 80% of the snaps. I don't think quite many people expected that. He also ran 31 routes, which I definitely didn't expect. That amounted to 7 targets, 6 receptions, and 55 yards. That's a pretty safe floor for an RB1. He didn't have a great day rushing the ball, so that's why I think he could still be a buy low candidate. He also had that fumble, but when it comes to ACL injuries, usually you get better as the season progresses. So if there's ever a time to buy low on DALVIN Cook, it will be right now. The second player on our buy list is another running back with RB1 potential, and that's KENYAN Drake. Drake is somebody I was very high on in the beginning of the year. Week 1, he didn't quite have a stellar performance, but I think that had more to do with Tennessee's stout run defense. However, he did play 74% of the snaps, had 17 touches, including all the targets at the running back position. Gore had the better day rushing, but I wouldn't be worried about Drizzy Drake. Instead, I would be trying to buy low on this potential breakout player. The last player on our buy list is wide receiver Corey Davis. Corey Davis is the #1 pick with all the potential in the world. Unfortunately, he's on that Tennessee offense, which kind of limits his upside. However, with 13 targets, including 3 red zone targets, and now with Delanie Walker's injury, he's somebody that has a safe floor and a very high ceiling. If Mariota could come back and get his stuff together, the sky's the limit for Corey Davis. Make sure you buy low now. Now for our sell list. The first name on this list is none other than Drew Brees. Yes, that Drew Brees, who just had an amazing game at home against the depleted Bucs secondary, which is why I think you should go ahead and sell him now. Maybe you have an owner of Deshaun Watson or Jimmy Garoppolo that's kind of panicking. Try to push him that way because Drew Brees, he plays amazing at home. He's also known as being a fast starter. But it's not every week he's going to play the Bucs. It's not every week he's going to play at home, and he tends to tail off towards the end of the year. So if you have somebody that's panicking at the quarterback position, I would try to sell him on Drew Brees. The next player on our sell list is Golden Tate. Yes, Golden Tate had an amazing week 1, and that's why you should sell him. Most players on our sell list are going to be coming off a good week that I think is pretty much a fluke. Now, Golden Tate has been a proven receiver for many years now. Yes, I know. But he's always been very boom or bust. And as I watched that game against the Jets, it wasn't until Buster Screen got out with an injury that Golden Tate really went off. He had 15 targets, but only caught 7 of them. Not every game is going to be like that for Tate. Now that Matt Stafford has more weapons, as well as a run game, I would try to sell now on Golden Tate. The last player on our sell list is another legend, Adrian Peterson. Yes, he looked fantastic week 1, but he also got 26 carries, and he's over the age of 30. At some point, you gotta imagine he'll break down, same way he has the previous 2 years. I'd rather get rid of him a week or 2 early before it comes later on in the season when you really need him and he's not there. This is when you wanna sell your players at a high. Now for our hold list. These are players that maybe didn't live up to your expectations, but you don't wanna get rid of just yet. Our first player, Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo looked amazing last year. With limited weapons, he went 7-0. This year, coming into Minnesota during the game, loses 2 offensive linemen, plus his #1 receiver in Marquise Goodwin, and he threw 3 picks. Didn't look quite like the guy we saw last year, but remember guys, this is Minnesota. He's on the road, loses players. It's a tough place to play. Don't just give up on Jimmy just yet. Pump the brakes and hold on to Jimmy Garoppolo. The next player on our hold list is Trey Burton. Trey Burton, I loved him coming into the fantasy season. He looked awesome in preseason. They were lining him up all over the place, kind of reminiscent of what they did with Kelsey and KC. But then comes week 1, total clunker. But don't worry guys, he was still second on the team with targets with 6. As long as he's getting those type of targets with those weapons that the Bears have, they're going to open things up. He's going to get his points. So don't worry with TREY Burton and hold on to him. Last player on our hold list is somebody that was actually on our buy list last week. And actually he could have been there again this week. It's Robbie Anderson. The reason he's on my hold list is because I know he didn't light up the scoreboard, although he did have that touchdown, but I think it had more to do with the way the game went, and also he was matched up for most of the night on Darius Slay. You saw what happened the one play he wasn't. Boom, bomb, touchdown. But Darnold didn't throw that many passes, so don't expect Inanwa to be the #1 receiver. Robbie Anderson is still the Jets receiver to own, and the talent, the sky's the limit with this guy. Hold on to Robbie Anderson. Thank you everybody for joining me on Fantasy Watch. Please make sure you subscribe for all the latest fantasy content. Also, comment down below which players you think you should buy, sell, or hold, or any fantasy related questions for that matter. And be sure to follow me on social media at SportsLibs. Till next time, Fantasy Watch.